Did you have any knowledge of any beefs between YFN and YSL?
Yes.
And you said he'll be talking to Mr. Williams. As an investigator, have you had the opportunity through your work in Atlanta to interact with persons who claim association with a gang called Young Slime Life?
Yes. And Mr. Huey would talk about going to handle that.
Through your work as well in Atlanta, have you had the opportunity to interact with individuals who claim association with a gang called YFN?
Yes, I have.
When you're saying Mr. Williams, who are you referring to?
Jeffrey Williams, also known as Young Thug. Since 2015, YSL and YFN had an ongoing conflict.
If you're new, make sure y'all hit that notification bell, that like, share, comment, and subscribe. Grab a seat. We finna dig deep. What's up, YouTube family? Welcome back to the channel. As always, I'm your host, Jay, bringing you the latest updates in this explosive YSL RICO trial. And oh boy, is it safe to say things are heating up, or are they actually cooling off? Now, the state is introducing what's said to be their last witness, Detective Viverito. But ask yourself this, is this just another play from the state? Now, this witness has been circulating for a while, especially when it comes to the case. So ask yourself, is this the state's final play? Will they actually succeed, or will the defense actually have a moment to shine and tear apart the state's narrative altogether? Y'all know the vibes. Grab a seat. We finna dig deep.
Viverito.
And good morning, Investigator Viverito. How are you?
Good morning. I'm well.
Where do you work?
The City of Atlanta Police Department.
And how long have you worked for the City of Atlanta Police Department?
Since February of 2023.
And what are your current job duties and responsibilities with the City of Atlanta Police Department?
Currently, I hold the rank of investigator, and my position is unique. It's the first of its kind for the Atlanta Police Department. It's a move towards intelligence-led investigations. So my official title is an investigative gang analyst.
Now, as an investigator on this case, did you have the occasion to investigate any crimes involving an individual by the name of Marquavius Huey?
I did.
And specifically, did you investigate an armed robbery that occurred in October of 2020?
I did. Just identifying Mr. Huey's gang involvement, who he was affiliated with, who he would have had alliances with, who he would have had rivalries with, things of that nature.
And how did you go about assisting to identify Huey's relationships with any gang involvement?
Well, the first thing I did was review Mr. Huey's social media accounts. The name has changed a few times, but when I reviewed it, it was Mr. Huey's very proud of his affiliation with Young Slime Life.
Yep. Sustained. Don't provide commentary like that, okay? Just if you're testifying to facts, just give us the facts.
So after months of witness testimonies, cross-examinations, and countless hours of the state failing to connect the dot, the state is finally bringing out the last card, Detective Viverito. Now, she is the one that the state actually believes will seal the deal on this whole YSL conspiracy case against these last two defendants. And ask yourself this, with the history and the pattern of the witness behaviors that we've actually seen from the state, would this witness be the one to actually unravel or actually seal the state's case? Let's dig.
Disregard that last comment.
So just what were some of his names?
JBS Quay for Jonesboro South Quay. I can't remember the rest of them off the top of my head, but it changed a few times.
And have you had the occasion in your experience to investigate gangs with people who have ties to the music industry?
I have. In Atlanta, it is very common.
And is YSL and YFN both of those gangs that you've been able to investigate?
Yes.
And are you familiar with gang references in music?
I am.
Your Honor, this time the state would like to tender Investigator Viverito as a witness, as an expert in criminal street gangs and criminal street gang activity.
All right. She's so qualified and may testify as an expert in those areas.
As an investigator, have you had the opportunity through your work in Atlanta to interact with persons who claimed association with a gang called Young Slime Life?
Yes.
Specifically, have you had conversations with individuals who are a member of Young Slime Life?
Yes.
Have you had the opportunity or occasion to review social media accounts of individuals who claim affiliation with Young Slime Life?
Yes.
I'm going to ask you, through your work as well in Atlanta, have you had the opportunity to interact with individuals who claim association with a gang called YFN?
Yes, I have.
And I'll ask the same series of questions. Have you had the opportunity to listen to jail calls of individuals who associate themselves with YFN?
Yes, I helped investigate and was part of the team for the YSL RICO indictment, and jail calls were an integral part of our investigation.
Now, this witness is definitely a threat when it comes to the case. But here's the diabolical part of it. She's actually a threat for the defense and the state. Now, interesting, this actual witness is definitely here, and she's about to actually testify on behalf of whatever she believes. Now, again, where you've seen witness after witness come up for the state, and only narrate what they believe. Allegations, speculations. So ask yourself this. Will she be able to actually connect the dots when it comes to yakking SB? Now the goal actually with the state and its witness is very simple. It doesn't have to actually be to show that these individuals did individual acts, but to actually just prove what? Conspiracy. The avert overall acts with all the other defendants. Just to actually tie these actual two defendants to this actual case. Now the state, as I said, is actually relying heavy on conspiracy, not the convictions of these individuals. Pay attention to that. Let's dig.
Now, Investigator Viverito, when looking through the phone, well, let me ask you this. Prior to getting involved with this investigation with Marquavius Huey, did you have any knowledge of any beefs between YFN and YSL?
Yes, since 2015, YSL and YFN had an ongoing conflict.
Overruled.
Now, when you looked inside of Mr. Huey's phone, did you see any conversations in his phone regarding an individual by the name of Lucci?
I did. I would see that when Lucci or Mr. Rayshawn Bennett, when Mr. Bennett would have, there was a handful of performances or appearances within the city of Atlanta. The flyer would be shared either by Mr. Williams or Mr. Huey, and Mr. Huey would talk about going to handle that. It would be told or asked to go handle that.
And you said he would be talking to Mr. Williams. How did you know, when you're saying Mr. Williams, who are you referring to?
Jeffrey Williams, also known as Young Thug.
How did you know he was speaking with Jeffrey Williams?
Based on the phone numbers that he was in communication with, as well as how they were named in the phone, but the phone numbers themselves. You're looking at when you extract a phone. If you go to your address book in your phone, you'll pull up contacts or a contact card. This is what it looks like when the phone is extracted. When you receive it back on a hard drive and you're going through the phone, this is what it's going to appear as.
Through your investigation, did you associate this contact with an individual?
I did.
And who was that?
Jeffrey Williams.
All right.
It's going to be, it's a flyer for a YFN Lucci performance or appearance.
Okay. And who sent the flyer and to whom did the flyer get sent to?
Mr. Huey sent that flyer to Mr. Williams.
Right. And looking at slide 3, in the middle, what is in the middle? Is that the attachment of what the flyer is?
Yes.
Now looking at slide number 3, is that the attachment?
It is.
All right.
So let's dig. So even though the prosecution strategy is definitely crystal clear, they're gambling the close of this case all on this last witness. See, the state's goal with this witness is not to pinpoint individual acts on either one of these actual defendants, but to actually show the connection between YSL and YFN. But here's where it gets interesting. Even though her testimony is definitely detailed, it's still largely circumstantial. It's all about tying the loose ends and threads together. We see the text, the phone calls, the social media posts. But at this point, is that even enough to convince the jury beyond a reasonable doubt? Now, I don't want to drag this out, so let's dig. Now, the state's whole plot with this actual witness is actually to put everything on SB. Doesn't matter what Yak actually did, whether he was there or not. It's really all about SB and the state connecting this dot.
Oh, good. Nigga. Hello. You good? Yeah. Who's this?
What the hell you mean, nigga?
Oh, I ain't even say. You know I ain't saving no number.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. For sure.
Where the hell you at? You gone?
Yeah, I'm about to drop my house off.
7 miles, boy. It's all love, boy. I can't wait, boy. I gotta go home.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he just ran in the store real quick.
Yo, so it was all love. I ain't waiting, boy. I gotta go, boy. That shit just shook the fuck out of me.
Man, what? Man, when I seen it, when I seen it,
Man, what? Man, that whole just, man. Boy, listen, boy. I just said to myself, boy. Man, let me out the car. I'm finna go in.
Now you heard me say, man, Miss V, are you Miss V?
I am.
Is that what Mr. Garlington and Mr. Stillwell call you?
Yes.
In, boy. And I ain't coming back outside, boy. I don't care if I have no run or nothing, boy. Them motherfuckers ain't moving.
Hey, boy, I said the same shit, boy. Somebody really think I'm like, yeah, man. I'm like,
What's so crazy, bro? I was just being cheap. I was being cheap. My whole kid saying, let's get it wrong like him. I'm not having to pay for no room. Man, listen, boy. I just said it down, boy. They can send a nigga to right screen with their money like that. Man, let me go and spend this shit on them in the room, man.
Man, what? I'm
Fuck
talking
up.
hey, that's on DV. I mean, I'm like, boy, I got to get my last 2,000. I got to get a lawyer there. I'm like, man. I'm in that bitch like, yeah, man. Damn.
Bro, you wouldn't believe, boy. All the sticks and the guns was in the gray car.
For real?
Man, oh God, what? And the sticks and shit in the attic.
Ooh, shit. That was God, boy.
Man, what?
That was God.
These have got to be some of the slowest, smartest, dumbest, fastest, most undecided, misguided, misinterpreted, misunderstood individuals that I know. But ask yourself this: what, did they just play the state? Now, in my personal opinion, I believe the state actually just dropped the ball big time when they actually brought this witness in. And here's why I say that. My personal opinion seems like they actually just got spun. And they actually just came up here and played the fact that they got spun on the record for the courts. Now, even more interesting, they got the wiretaps, they got the investigation, and the actual conversation. But what they didn't have is any fingerprints, no convictions, no DNA, no final actual person who they could say to complete their investigation. So again, all we hear is we believe, we believe, we believe. Where's the fingerprints? Where's the evidence? Make it all make sense. So in my opinion, the state might have just actually played themselves bringing this witness. And being the fact that she said that she was with an old probation officer, he said he used to be lying, making up stuff just to spend the state. Did the state actually just come up here and get spent and put it on the record? Let's dig.
Damn.
They're crazy, bro. Don't nobody know. Them folk don't be knowing where that spot at, man.
Yeah.
It's like a head drop out, bro.
Boy, on God, boy. I know what I believe. On TV, that's what I believe, boy.
Somebody head get it. Hey, boy, I ain't gonna lie, boy. I know you happy like I'm happy, boy. I'm happy as hell, boy. I just was saying to
Man, wait,
myself.
I'm right here
Get
smiling.
what get what I just was saying to myself. I just was saying to myself, boy. Man, all these niggas might get out except man D, boy.
Oh, man, on God.
I'm like him,
I'm
boy.
the guy that got.
Yeah.
Who were the two people talking on that call?
Mr. Arlington and Mr. Stillwell.
And did you hear when in the call they talked about the sticks? They were happy because they didn't go inside because there were sticks in the attic.
I heard them speak about sticks being in the gray car and in the attic.
When you went and did the execution of the search warrant on March 17th, 2022, did you find any weapons first in the attic of the home at 2830 Waters Road?
I did not.
Wait a minute. The case is over. Right there. Did you hear what she just said? Did you hear what this actual state's witness, the star witness, the close of the case witness actually just said? They played a phone call reiterating that these boys was happy that they made it out from a house that just got hit up when they didn't even think that they was going to be the only two that didn't make it out. So y'all played this phone call in front of the jury to show that, again, that these boys is on the defense, not the offense. They the ones getting hit at, not the ones doing the hitting. Let's dig.
Was there any weapons found inside of an Audi vehicle?
I believe there was a rifle recovered from the Audi.
Now, when you hear the term sticks, have you heard that term before?
I have.
And how have you heard that term referenced?
Referencing a long gun or a rifle.
And would the gun that was found inside of the Audi on March 17, 2022 be considered a stick?
Yes.
Now, did you hear when either Mr. Garlington or Mr. Stillwell mentioned something or an individual named Elmo?
Yes.
Are you familiar with that nickname at all?
I'm not.
Did you hear when either Mr. Stillwell or Mr. Garlington said, I'm on drill time?
Yes.
Have you heard that term drill time before?
Yes.
How have you heard that terminology?
Like you're ready to go to war, basically.
Did you hear either Mr. Stillwell or Mr. Garlington talk about the camera footage inside of the home?
Briefly, yes.
And again, when you went on March 17, 2022, was there any camera footage found inside of the house?
No, based on that call, I included it in my items to be searched for in my search warrant, but it had been removed.
Y'all remember the game at the party, pinning the tail on the donkeys? Now, I'm not sure if the state should put a tail on the witness or the witness should put a tail on the prosecutor. Now, this is the most retarded evidence and witness that the state could have used. Y'all got sent to serve a warrant. We just gonna skip over that. Y'all served a botched warrant that was inconclusive. No sticks, just a stick. Then y'all served the warrant for camera footage and surveillance. And there's no surveillance. So 2 botch warrants. So we just gonna skip over the fact that those was inconclusive actual warrants, right? But we're gonna talk about the fact that they was gone, the evidence and information. Show it. We don't want to talk about what you believe. Show it. Because what you believe is not the same as what you can prove. What you can prove is not the same as what you're saying on the stand. We want to know what you can actually prove, not what you believe. Let's dig.
And was it this call that you used to base the search warrant for you to go into the home on March 17, 2022?
Yes,
Now, during that call, did you hear with either Mr. Garlington or Mr. Stillwell, I guess, talk about their discussion with the police officers on scene?
correct.
When you got to Waters Road on March 17, 2022, did it look the same way that it looked when you were there on March 16, 2022, around 12 a.m.? On March 16th, when you went to the house, did it have TVs and video surveillance systems and stuff?
Are you talking about the interior?
Yes. When you went on March 16th, did you see video surveillance inside of the house? On March 16th, when you responded and spoke to Mr. Jackson?
I watched the body camera and I was able to see through the front.
Okay.
Hang on.
When you saw the house, did you
go
inside the house?
But
How's the judge still helping the state? Let her actually come through and work through her own mistake. You know why she couldn't actually work through this mistake? Because rather they had just hit from that previous mistake. Again, y'all just played in front of the jury that these boys was not on offense, but on defense. So can you imagine how the defense is going to cross the state's witness when they get the chance? Phew, let's dig.
When you got to the house on March 16th, were you able to see inside of the home?
yes, from the front, the door was open. Yes, I could see into the house.
And when you saw inside of the house, were you able to see television and video surveillance systems?
Yes.
Okay. When you went on March 17th, 2022, and after the search warrant, y'all made entry into the home, was that same surveillance camera system still at the house? Was it still there?
It had been removed.
Okay.
So in my personal opinion, I feel like this witness is just going to end up being another witness that gets dismantled by the defense. Now, we still haven't heard the actual defense cross, but I know the defense is waiting just to point out the inconsistencies with this investigation and this witness narrative. But also, let's not forget that the jury has heard weeks of testimony and heard this evidence over and over again. Now, the state is hoping that this actual witness testimony is the final nail in the coffin, especially when it comes to these two defendants. But the defense, however, definitely has to try to paint that picture that this just another attempt for the state to actually stretch that narrative when it comes to the RICO and conspiracy umbrella with that theory. Now, clearly, the defense does have some work to put in, especially when it comes to SB and talking on those phones. Now, if this case didn't teach anybody anything at all, it should be to stop talking on the phones, and then when you're ready to do dirt, leave that phone at home. And remember, a video on the phone is tracking in its own. So when you go ready to do this dirt, this case should show to stop turning those cameras on. Some things are better left unsaid than now recorded and talked about on the phones. Let that sink in. Let's dig. Now, in my opinion, this witness will be just like any other witness that we've actually seen up here and come testify for the state. A waste of time for 3, and the defense is definitely going to expose this investigation by the end of this case. Now, it's even more interesting because, again, the state actually came up here and just played the fact that these boys were actually on defense, not on offense. They the ones getting busted. Every time you talking around, they talking about protecting and staying in. You talking about sticks, they found 1 stick. Served 2 warrants, got no evidence. Make it make sense. 6 guns, no fingerprints. You got a car that got tested with a headliner. No DNA residence. Like, make it make sense. The ballistics don't match. Nobody can definitively say who shot. All you have is the state's theories and what they believe, and they still fail to connect the dots. Man, y'all jump in the comments, let me know. Is the defense actually ready to actually take this case to the end? Is it over when they get to the cross-examination? Y'all make sure y'all jump in the comments, let me know. Freedom boys, I'm gonna say it until the very end. Remember, the greater the height, the greater the weight. The life you save might be your very own. As always, y'all know we waiting on that cross-examination for the defense to bring this case home. Till next time, I'm your host, Jay. Gone.